One, two, one, two, one, two, three. You were not on the three.
You scared me with the three. I got confused.
One, two. Okay. No, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I think between that we got some decent ones.
The more and more I think about it, the more and more I think it's like we should try to speed run Rhythm Doctor and see who can get there first, because I feel like we're gonna struggle very hard.
What is Rim Doctor?
Rhythm Doctor. It's a one button game, and it's just a rhythm game. It's like one of the best rhythm games out there, actually, from what I've been told.
And it's just one button?
Yeah, it's just one button.
I'd be interested. I think if we should do like if we get like if we get 100 subs, I think we should do that.
I would be down to try. And it's like it's then it's one of those games where it's like you have to kind of like clear your desktop and clean it up, because like it does stuff. You have to do stuff with the rhythm, because like the game itself will be like, all right, I'm gonna go dance around a little bit. I'm gonna move around. And you're like, where are you going? It's like, just follow the rhythm.
What does that even mean?
It will just leave the game. Like the game window will be like, all right, it's time for me to get small, and it's time for me to boogie.
I don't understand.
Don't worry. Roscoe. We have tangented hard.
Dude, we've been tangenting for an hour. We've been tangenting for an hour, listeners. So we started watch. Well, we both started watching at like 4:30, I think, 4 o'clock. I told nobody, give me till like 5 o'clock. No, it was 3. I was like, give me to 5 o'clock, because I already know I'm just gonna stop watching and continue watching. Mm-hmm. And I think I called you probably around 5:30, and we've been talking since 6:30.
Yes.
Or from 5:30 to 6:30 now.
It's been good conversations. But yeah, we've been talking. But now we are gonna be talking about ReZero. We're gonna be talking about this anime, where things are still not getting better.
but they're not as bad as we thought they would be.
True. We got some good news. Let's start off with our intros. Hi, I'm Nobody Knows. I don't know much things. But I know how to spell ramekin now.
And I am Roscoe's Sweatsuit. I do not believe that ramekin is a real word. I believe that nobody made that up to sound smart. And I am always sweaty.
Gotcha. And we're just two random guys on the internet, talking about ReZero because we enjoy the show. It's probably the most consistent show we can do, and we enjoy the show. Oh, so before we start, I will just be honest with you guys. We're gonna tangent and ramble probably, and then we're definitely going to spoil things for specifically episode 56 of ReZero. That or it's also called season 3, episode 6 of ReZero.
Or 56, or however they're counting it.
It's so fucking weird how they count it, because they count the movies too as like episodes. We're gonna get into it, and we'll probably just start with like a brief recap. And I'm gonna go do this shit. I'm going. All right, so we start off. We hop into the episode where we're back with Amiya in a room of big problems, basically. And basically they kind of like they're trying to like set out the reasons basically why Amelia won't run away, right? Like out the gate, or like won't try to like make any big moves, because basically they come to an understanding. She's talking to, what's this dude's name? Religus? What's his name? His full name?
Conti?
No, Top G. What's Top G's real name?
It's not Conti. Oh yeah, Conti is that's Sloth, right?
Yeah.
Cornelius something. Regulus Cornelius. I don't know, man. He's Top G.
Top G. Let me look up his real name real quick.
He is a high value male.
Archbishop Reed.
He is living every pickup artist's dream and every woman's worst nightmare.
He is literally the worst nightmare. He is
Yeah.
out of all of the Saint bitches we got, I was like, man, these are people you just don't want to be around. Him is like, I think you said it best last time. He's like, he's just problematic.
Yeah.
He's just bad
Yeah.
and problematic, bro. It's crazy.
Like everybody else is evil. This dude is like just like he's like a different kind of evil. He's like a Epstein kind of evil.
Yeah,
It's a different. It's
it's fucking bad.
it's not like a Hitler kind of evil. Like you know what I'm saying?
Regulus Cornelius, Regulus Cornelius, I believe his name.
Regulus Cornball Cornelius.
Yeah, but we just call him Top G here. Yeah, so she's in that thing, and he's talking to one of Regulus's, like, I think she's like 83 or 86. That's her only name. That's the name we get for her. Her name is number 86. His 86 wife. The 86 wife was kind of explaining to her, is like, yeah, you know, they're gonna flood the city again if you run away, if this marriage doesn't happen and stuff like that. And so you shouldn't do that, and you should like just learn to behave and stuff like that. And she's like, Amelia still has this like childish kind of ideals about like, certain things, and she's like, no, marriages are supposed to be happy and stuff like that. And this girl's like, whatever, just don't just listen to what the dude says or whatever. And that is like kind of this first scene of ReZero, where you get Amelia kind of like saying, okay, I can't just like, she doesn't say this outright, but you get the vibe where she's like, okay, I'm understanding the risk in the situation, which I think was like a cool thing to do. Sometimes I feel like characters like Amelia in anime specifically gets this weird effect where it's like this character is kind of powerful but are not allowed to do anything because there's like a damsel in distress. I think Hime is like a kind of good example of this. Like her healing literally like turns back time, but like I guess it didn't happen too much in the first season, that first big arc when they're taking out the Soul Society. But like there's a whole arc in Wako Mundo is just basically they're trying to go save Rukia, right?
I would know. I skipped.
Yeah, but yeah, basically like there's a whole big arc where they go to Wako Mundo and they fight Hollows, like the top dog Hollows, and the main mission is to save Rukia, from my understanding.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me Rukia gets captured again?
Oh, you thought it was just one thing? sorry, not Rukia. Sorry, Hime.
Okay.
It's not Rukia. Well, now that you have unlocked something else. Yeah, Rukia, another character, the badass woman, immediately captured damsel in distress first arc. This arc, second arc was like, hey, here's this other person that has like this cool power. Immediately captured and held as damsel in distress. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But yeah, so I think anime has a tendency to do that, and it's not just an anime thing. It's like I think all media tends to do this, but I think introducing kind of these stakes makes it more understandable of being like, I can't just like bug out because I'm not trying to have like the whole city get wiped again or flooded again, because she's literally looking at the results of it.
Yeah, I think they took a really good approach to explaining why she's like this, because we established this before. I know I was getting very frustrated in her character treatment this season, especially after we saw in the beginning just like how much she's grown, as both like a fighter and as just like a character. And to see that kind of like flushed away immediately was very like disheartening. And I'll be honest with you, nobody, I'm not 100% satisfied with the way they're having things now, but like at least I did come around to it a little bit more towards the end of this episode.
I think that's a fair thing to say, like being 100% satisfied. But I think it's at least pushing to the right direction, in my opinion.
It's at least trying.
Yeah. But yeah, so we get the scene with her, and then we go into the next scene where you are in Subaru's nightmare dream, basically, and there's in this dream where he's like fighting a huge dragon, and a whole bunch of dogs are fighting each other, and they're hurting Subaru by fighting each other. And he's having this dream, and then the sun pitches, wakes him up using warm hands, basically, and they are kind of just interacting and talking to each other about like the recent events that happened, and they kind of get a feel of like, hey, what are your plans? What are you planning to do, Subaru? And Subaru was like, bro, I'm gonna go fuck up everybody. In my head, I don't know how he's gonna do it, but he's saying a lot of things.
Like, you are talking a lot. He is talking he is really talking his shit this episode.
It's like, bro, every fight we've got into in this city, we everyone that was involved in that fight has taken an L. that was not a part of the villain side, right? I don't care. Like, you've been walked away. A villain has beat your ass and casually walked away twice so far. Actually, no, 3 times. Yeah.
You couldn't win against the bunnies the first few times. What makes you think you stand a chance?
And in this scene, basically what happens is like, oh yeah, the songstress is there, the music lady's there too. So in this scene, like, you know, they have this conversation. The Sun Prince is kind of like Subaru's moxie and like appreciates it, and she's like, you know, that's cool and stuff, but I actually can fight or whatever. I got a big ass sword that I can summon like another Zampok toe. All these princesses have Zampok toes, and when these weird I think they call them like Omni Beasts. Like, what do they call them? They call them like Shadow Beasts. These weird.
I think in Japanese, I think they said Ajin. I don't know if you had the same.
Ajin?
Ajin, yeah, Demi Beast or something like that.
Yeah, I think the English translation was Demi Beast, but if they're saying Ajin, that makes a lot of sense because that vibes into the what they look like to me. And you know, we find out what the eggs are. There are these Ajins, and they're taking over, basically running all over the city. And the fire patients easily kills all of them that are in their immediate vicinity. Because she's like, yeah, I'm a badass. Like, what do you expect? Yeah, but before we move any further, I kind of want to talk a little bit about this. The first part, when I was talking about the dragon and the dogs fighting, I think this leads into the curse stuff I briefly mentioned last episode. Because Subaru has been cursed once before when he got bitten by the dogs, right? And now he's cursed now again because of the dragon blood.
I was wondering when. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but like, I was wondering, like, where have I seen those dogs? And then when you mentioned it, I was like, the only dogs I remember like that were from the beginning.
Yeah.
And you put 2 and 2 together about the curse thing.
Yeah. So he's been cursed. This is the second time he's been cursed. So to me, it's kind of coming off of like the curses are fighting out, battling in his soul, being like, no, I'm gonna fuck this person up. No, I'm gonna fuck this person up. Because like I think like the way Betty explains curses or whatever, or at least explain the curses that Subaru faced in the first one, where it was like, it's like a tango knot and she couldn't undo it, right? So like it was like it's something that just went away because they killed all the dogs. Basically they killed all the threats, but I think that curse is still kind of sitting in him. This leads into the ability why like he's probably not in the same position of Crush, which we'll get to, because he has these two like curses kind of battling out for his soul. And also my boy got his leg back. He can regenerate his leg.
Okay, again, this goes to my theory. I think I made a joke last episode about like Subaru turning into Eren Yeager, like this being the start of his Eren Yeager arc, and he was gonna grow his arm back, and you know, lo and behold,
fair.
Is he gonna go full dragon mode?
Maybe. But like the songstress pretty much explains the situation on the reason why this is like happening, where we get more information about the dragon blood. The dragon blood has, well, at least through this song, is like it heals and regenerates wounds and like cures sicknesses. So I guess that's one of the benefits of the dragon blood, of this like healing property. It looks kind of gnarly. Like his leg doesn't look like a normal leg, but like Priscilla, I believe the Sun Princess, literally just like cuts him in the leg and he heals back. And I like how she's like, don't scream, and then she stabs him. and it like heals up immediately, and it seems like he doesn't even, like, Subaru doesn't feel it. And then she like goes around to his other side, like to his neck or whatever, and he just stabs him there. She stabs him there, and he's like, oh, what the fuck? He's like, oh, I guess it doesn't work. It only works for your leg.
Yeah, it's he is in a really interesting position to where, you know, next time Greed Top G tries to shoot off his leg, he can grow back his leg.
Yeah.
What do you think that's going to mean in the future? Do you think we're going to start seeing like a super powered Subaru? Is that something that you would want to see? like Subaru with more like tactical competency,
I
or do you
think
think this is just going to be a one-off kind of thing?
I think if they want to continue down this roads with the powers that people have, he's going to have to become more tactically competent. Because like the way that the people in the show see Subaru and the way that we see Subaru is just fundamentally different because we've seen all the times he's died, and they're just like this dude's just like a genius tactician, and just says stuff and it works, right? But I think that can only go so far. Do I want that? I don't think it's a bad thing because I still feel like in the show he's gonna just be so woefully underpowered, it's not gonna matter. Right, like let's be honest, his strongest power so far is by far to get other people to help him, like he's a Pokemon master, and the second one is Shamak, and we already know how we feel about Shamak.
You're missing his third power that again seems to still find its way into the story. His magical whip.
I am the factor of the whip. We will respect it. He will not lose it anymore.
I don't know if we're gonna like. I don't want to skip too far around. So I'll let you continue. But there's a particular part that I want to come back to this whip.
Yeah, no, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's close by. We're gonna get over there. So basically, Subaru walks around with the Sun Princess and Songstress. They go down to a den where like people are sheltered because of the flood, and they realize that the Archbishop of Sin's power is kind of like a static power, where it like just constantly makes people on edge or have this bad mood, which I think is super cool. And that's like description of wrath. You know what I'm trying to say? Where it's just kind of like this thing that's like it's like just slowly building up into people and making them like get into these bad thoughts. What's that?
If that's the case, why isn't it affecting Subaru?
It was affecting Subaru, right? Like, because even in that scene, his eyes turns red. It's just that the Sun Princess Priscilla is like, yo, just calm down. And I can understand why Priscilla doesn't get a bad mood because she literally believes everyone in the world is beneath her, right? Like, you can't be mad at something you own. The reason why I don't think it affects the song picture as the songstress, which we find out in the scene, is like not even like in a magical way. It doesn't seem like a magic thing. It's just like she sings so good that people just wants to like relax, and like it makes people not at least change their eyes from red, and get this mood. I think if I describe Bishop of Wrath's power, it's not like a thing that is like it's like something that she gives to people. It's just like a natural thing. She like puts on gasoline, if that makes sense. So if you're feeling bad and you're getting angry, she helps like make that anger grow. That's what it came off to me.
Yeah.
So it's like people are in these bad situations and they're angry at each other and they're snapping at each other. She's gonna feed that fire of wrath, which like I think makes sense with her power of fire, right? And just like the general idea of wrath, because like I think that's like a small, like a quite like cynical thing about wrath, right? Like the calm before the storm, right? Before the explosion, it comes off as to be. So yeah, so they she does this thing. The Sun Princess is like, bro, I'm gonna look for my bro Al, and Subaru was like, oh, you like Al? She's like, shut the fuck up. He doesn't say any of that stuff, but it's implied. The songstress is gonna stay with the princess, and they're gonna continue looking for these shelters for Al. And Subaru's like, I gotta go figure out stuff and go like meet up with my group to see how we're gonna fix this thing. Immediately gets chased by a Ajin and almost dies. But Julius saves him. And I was like, damn, Julius, I thought you were gonna be dead.
I also thought he was gonna be dead as well.
I was like, Julius, I might have to bump you up in my rankings because if you fought the Archbishop of Gluttony and didn't die, you must be good.
Unless he's dead.
Yeah, unless he's dead. So before we get into that full stream, where I know Roscoe wants to go because that's where the lovely whip is, the best weapon ever. We get another flashback scene of Amelia talking with Top G, and basically she's kind of like playing into his ego or whatever, because he's like, yo, why are you smiling? Why are you smiling, bitch? That's basically what he's doing in a nicer, condescending way. I don't know if it's nice if it's condescending. And she gives off like these answers, like, "Oh, I'm just tired," and like this other answer, and he's just saying about his wedding and how it's gonna happen or whatever, and like Amelia's leaving, and as she's leaving, um, I love the pettiness of Cornelius because it's like, that random, like a random small thing. You did a random small inconvenience to you. I'm gonna build this up until I have the justification to kill you, right? And it just happened so fast with this guy, where it's just like, hey, because he's talking about the 86 wife, which is the person that has been with Amelia, giving her clothes or whatever. She's like, hey, like, you should have noticed that my new wife that I'm with, wife. He's like, wife. You should have noticed my new wife is unhappy. And immediately tries to kill this girl. And Amelia saves her. And like the girl is unfazed that she almost got murdered. She's like, oh, it is what it is. And like she says like, hey, this is like the kind of like thing that they live in. And through this whole conversation, you also figure out that Julius had like, I think it's like 279 wives or whatever, but he says like a lot of them perished, so he only has like 53 right now. And by perish, I imagine they just got murdered by
Perish is such a passive way of saying that you killed them.
yeah.
Like, I've never heard it saying, but also what like a great, I don't think great is the right word, but like a well done portrayal of like an abusive relationship.
Yes, 100%. 100% a good representation of this, because like it's like, even like the way the girl that almost gets married talks about like saying like, oh, like her marriage, she's like, oh, like marriage doesn't need love at all, like she literally says that, right? She's like saying doesn't need love. It's like this thing, this contract or whatever, and basically she's like, I'm just trying not to die.
Yeah. Like I think the element that they made was super interesting was just adding the normalization.
Mm.
Like to them, it is more like, this is just life. Like, why are you trying to make my life difficult by trying to be different or trying to like say that this thing is wrong? Like, this is just what it is. Like, this is a fruitless marriage. Like, this is all about like, as long as I stay alive, I'm good.
Yeah,
That's all I ask for.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's a super small but like interesting and well done scene in my opinion. And then we cut back. This is where Subaru gets chased by that Ajin, and Julius saves him. And Julius is like, okay, we're not in this building anymore. We're on this other building. And he's like, Subaru's cool. They go back to that building. The first thing you see is Will getting his ass slapped by Felix. Felix is slapping Will, and he's like, you're suck. And he's like, yo, convince me that you could have done more. Because Crush is fucked up, and I'm blaming you. I'm not even gonna blame Subaru, which is probably someone I
Where was
blame.
your antennas?
Where were your antennas? Oh my gosh, that's what Felix said basically. I'm surprised Felix doesn't blame Subaru as much, because I feel like maybe because like they just didn't interact or whatever. But I feel like Felix is in the right to yell at Subaru too. But yeah, so Subaru in the last episode, Subaru lashed Crush to a dragon, so they can both escape, and then Subaru fell off, and these guys followed the dragon. I don't know if they killed him or not, but they found the dragon. They untied Crush, and Subaru gets his sweet whip back.
Like, I was so mad that the beast guy gave him back his whip. I was like, why did you hide it?
No. We are. I am a full supporter of Indiana Subaru. We must continue.
You should have just left it in the rubble. The only way I could see, like, me coming around to the whip is if, like, that becomes a part of his powers, or they finally manage to find a way to make this like relevant, because they're really trying to make this whip relevant. I have to imagine that it has some kind of like narrative purpose later on. Because it's like Sokka and his boomerang at this point. It's even better than Sokka's boomerang. Because sometimes Sokka's boomerang doesn't come back.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that we get Spider Subaru soon, whipping around like Spider-Man. But yeah, Felix is genuinely upset, and the reason why Felix is upset is because Crush is alive, but we get the sense that she's in a state that makes her is that's really really fucked up because she does the same thing to Subaru, but she does it on her face. And if Subaru's leg is any indicator of what happened to Crush's face, it's probably not pretty. This I think this leads back into my thing where like I think the Saint Bishop of art of lust is into like this physical, like hey, love should be this physical only thing in a weird way. It's because like the main thing the wolf thing says is like dang, like it's even more painful because she's pretty, like because she was pretty, right? So I imagine the thing that that has happened to Crush is similar to what like the Archbishop of Lust wants, where it's like, hey, would you love me? Would you love this person if they were like a huge fly, right? And at least from the lust thing, it's like, no, you wouldn't, because that would disgust you. It's not looking for Crush. She's like just bedridden. They don't even show her face, but like, yeah, she seems to be out for the count.
Yeah, it's we still don't know what she even looks like.
Yeah.
I don't think that her survival is the same as Subaru's. I think it was said in the last episode that like there seems to be certain people who kind of survive and are unchanged by it, like, or unmajorly changed by the dragon's blood. Subaru apparently seems to be one of them. I don't think that Crush is as lucky. Yeah. I think she's walking around with a fly head or something.
Oh man, but Crush was pretty. No, I don't want Crush to be a worm. But yeah, so you get that situation. Anastasia, Hoshin, and Subaru have a conversation with Julius, and basically they're like, "Hey, we should come up with a plan. We should do some stuff." And like Subaru basically gets on gets on his soapbox and says a lot of things that I don't know if he can do. But basically, he's saying like, "Yo, I'm gonna go save everyone. Like, I'm gonna fist Crutch. I'm gonna get Rem's memory back. I'm gonna make Wrath and Greed suck it because they're trying to hurt or marry my girlfriend, my Emiliaton." He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it all. And he's like, I know it's greedy. I know it's like a greedy thing. But he's like, but me and Julius gets that. Like we get like being a knight means being greedy and looking fucking cool. So we're gonna look cool and be greedy and save everyone's life or whatever. And it seems to like motivate those two to be ready for whatever conflict they're about to fall into or go into. To our last scene, do you want to do anything before I go to the last scenes?
Well, yeah, I think it points to again we talked about this, the question so far as soon as the archbishops have revealed themselves is how well do they know each other? How well are they interacting? Like how well is this plan thought out? They've got big hands and they've got little arms. They're not really, and I'm not really sure how well thought this plan was, at least in terms of everybody. No. It seems like they're somewhat aware of what the general idea is, but there's not like a general plan. It seems like very much like anonymous ish. Like they're not the Akatsuki. Like they don't have a general plan.
Yeah.
It's like we kind of follow this book. Like we have our own idea of what this is, but we also have like our own idea of what we're here. Like we're kind of just not getting in each other's way.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you brought up the book. Because I totally forgot about it. In this conversation with Anastasia Hoshin, I believe is her full name, like she's like, "Hey, bro, you know anything about this AI spirit?" And he's like, "Yo, I love AI spirits. Beto's is the AI spirit, basically." Super says, "AI is the future. He loves it." But no, artificial spirit is what they said. But yeah, Beto is this artificial spirits that they're looking for, and the tome, like she was like, "Do you know anything about this book? Because I have never heard of it." And he's like, "Yeah, the book is like the gospel for this cult, and I burnt that shit. There shouldn't be no more left, so we can't even give it to them even if we want to." Right?
Bad things come in threes.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Yeah," then he gets mad about them trying to marry Amelia. Yeah, and that's the main thing of that scene where like I don't know how the fuck he's doing it, but Subaru's ready to go in for round 3 of ass beatings.
When is he going to learn his lesson? He's not getting out of this alive. I think the next spawn point, though, is going to be him continuously being stabbed in the face. Or in the leg.
Uh,
or whatever it was, whatever happened when
she said don't
the
scream.
redhead girl opened up his forehead, or like woke him up, because I
Yeah.
think that's gonna be an important way for them to like introduce us more to I'm just calling her the red haired girl. I forget her real name.
The Sun Princess.
The Sun Princess.
Yeah. I think we can talk about. I'm probably gonna talk about this a little bit more. It's so torn. Like I think, like in earlier episodes, I'll be like, okay, this is a good time for. It made sense for Subaru. It was easier to tell why Subaru should die because it's like, okay, this is totally wiped. Here's the end result of like the bad thing. Like here's the bad end. Here's why all the bad stuff are happening. I want to make sure you see all the bad stuff, and then we'll go back. Right? It had like a lot of feelings like, oh, we're gonna see all this bad stuff. We're gonna see how bad it is. You're gonna see how complex the situation is, and then we're gonna go back, and then he's gonna get another attempt, right? But what I think this season has done really well is they have put strong plot points in a lot of different places where it makes it, if only if he goes all the way back to the beginning and makes him, it makes it suck to go back to anything that seems like a relevant save point, right? Like what you call it? Like even if he goes back to where you're saying, then we're committing to having Crush be a fucking flyhead, right? You know what I'm trying to say? Like that's gonna happen, right? Like she's gonna be stuck in that position, right? Okay, you're like, oh, let's go even further. Let's go back to like the first one where the baker or like the bakery or whatever, right? It's like we know for a fact that Amelia's gonna follow him to this conflict and she's gonna get kidnapped. You know what I'm trying to say? There's these major plot points that I feel like if you either go back and wipe them, you wipe them completely, or if you go back any of the things that make sense, like any of the time things that make sense, it's hard because like hard things has happened already. Like people have died, people are in bad positions. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I think it's like a very interesting. Like it makes it hard where it's like I even have like small ideas. Like maybe this is just a clean run. Maybe he doesn't die, right? And I doubt it, but like yeah, it's just like hard to gauge it because it's like I don't want Crush to be a worm. She's cool, right? Like out of all of the candidates, even above me Amelia a little bit, I think Crush makes like a lot of sense and like the cool, like she seems like the most reasonable person and the most like coolest person as well. Like she's well trained, but she understands circumstances. She's doing things that are like good for like not just her, but for like her nation or whatever. Like I think Crush's character in the beginning of the season was really cool and it was introduced and like fleshed out in this cool way. And then you get to see that same person still be cool when she loses all her memories, right? And now you're now she's a fly. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I think this is why I'm interested in the seasons because like even like what you're saying with the dragon's blood, like maybe there's something cool with Subaru having the dragon's blood. So I kind of don't want that stuff to go away. But in this situation, I'm like, man, this is really fucked. Like Subaru, what do you expect to do now? Right? Like you're down half the people. You went over there to not even fight the main boss, and you're down half the people from this one instance. You know what I'm trying to say?
It's just he's just got the energy. I don't know what to say.
Got you. We're going to the last couple scenes or whatever. So, Amelia, it says like, I'm solid Amelia. She like puts a ice figure in her bed that looks like her. She's really getting good at this ice shit because like I'm like she's doing Shadowclone jutsus and shit like that now. Basically,
It's getting impressive.
yeah. And then she's like, okay, time to just walk out my window casually because I can just freeze stuff. And she's like walking around the window, and she's basically just spying and trying to understand the situation, and like see the ways she could help. And I think going to your point, she basically eavesdrops on this situation where Top G is talking to someone else on the phone. I'm thinking it's another one of the archbishops or some higher person that's planning this whole thing because they're like basically telling what to do. And he's like, bro, why do I gotta do some stuff? I'm trying to get married. Like, why am I doing this stuff? Why can't I just blow things up? And he's like, okay, whatever, right? Or whatever. He gets told not to do it or whatever. And he's doing this over a media. And he puts the media down because like one of his wives comes in. He's like, hey, yo, you want to go see the interior of of the wedding, because we worked really hard to do that, and I don't want to get murdered. I just imagine every one of these people's like afterthoughts, like I just don't want to get murdered because it's just really bad. He's like, yeah, he's gonna go check out the murder, the murder. He's gonna go check out the wedding. Like once he leaves the room, this like I think like this area around this area is where we hit ending credits or whatever. But at the after credit ending, Amelia opens up the window for the room. She walks in there, and she like looks at the media. And as soon as she opens up the media, it starts like receiving a call, or whatever. So she turns it away really quick, and a voice says like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting to get a response." And it's Al. It's my man Al on the phone.
I didn't say this on the show. I called you a little while ago
Yes.
when I was watching the first season, and this was during the selection scene when we first learned about the different candidates. And I called you up. I was like, man, there's just something about this Al guy that I don't trust now. Like knowing what I know about Roswell and how much of a scammer this man is, and seeing like there's a particular scene in the selection arc where like both where this is when Super has been told, hey, don't come to this thing, and Super was like, bet, let me come to this thing. Amelia is obviously upset and doesn't want him to continue, like wants him to go straight home.
Mm-hmm.
And Roswell is like, nah, man, stay. And Al's like, yeah, sure, stay. You could sit right over there.
Cringe arc is cringe.
Yes, it's the height of the cringe arc. And like you can sit, there's a place right next to me. As a matter of fact, you can be like it was say the amount of like setup that he has for these situations, and just coupled with all these weird situations where he ends up leaving just randomly or not helping. Like he's never actively trying to help in any particular way. I was just like, yeah, man, there's just something about him. I can see like, I wouldn't be surprised if we found out that he was like, had his own separate motives, and it's getting confirmed possibly.
Well,
Soft confirm.
I'm defendant of Al. Sometimes you just call up, maniacs sometimes that are just terrible people. That's all. They're just in your Rolodex.
You don't just have like I can't just pick up my phone and dial Andrew Tate, okay? I don't have like Andrew Tate. If you saw me like, oh yeah, hold on, let me go hit this number real quick. You'd be like, nope, Roscoe, why the do you have Andrew Tate's number?
Yeah.
And there's no good response for this.
All right, I'm gonna defend my client Al. All right, let's be honest. We don't know how medias work, right? Maybe they have to do with like the person touching it, right? Maybe it's like a weird thing where he was just calling to see if any of his friends was Sting, and if one of his friends touched the media, he's like, okay, it connects, right? We don't know how it works. It might not be like a phone number thing.
It's not Omegle, nobody. We see like someone obviously use it to contact someone very specifically in that episode alone. Like it's not like a chat room. You're not gonna open up the media and like there's gonna be like, oh, can I do a freestyle rap for you? No, it's not how it works.
Oh my god. Oh god. Hey man, I'm just trying to defend my client, man. I want Al to be.
Your client is guilty, Your Honor.
I want him to be good so bad. I'm like, this dude's one armed, and he looks badass. He's wearing a helmet. He must have a cool power. Please not be evil. We have enough evil people in this season already.
We haven't seen his face. He's unwilling to show his face. He's got a mask. He's got 6-pack abs. What? There's nothing about him that screams a protagonist right now.
Sure. But yeah, that is the end of the scene. The only other one thing I would mention is, in that scene with Hoshin, she, Subaru tells them that he has interacted with the witch. He doesn't tell them which one, and that's how he like knows the information that they're looking for. So he's like, he basically says like, yeah, I was interacted with Witch of Greed.
And he said that. Well, you can say that you've interacted with the Witch of Greed. You cannot say that you interacted with the Witch of Envy.
Yeah, yeah, you better not say that. We know what happens to say that. She won't even kill you. She'll kill your girlfriend.
Yeah.
She man, low bow Witch of Envy. Which that actually was a crazy scene where it's like Witch of Envy. She like because the whole scene is like she like okay, he's about to grab his heart and like take him back, and she just grabs her heart and just kind of like caresses it, kills Amelia, and I was like, okay, so you're dead. Everyone's gonna murder you. They think they.
I don't know where this is gonna go from here, but I am interested.
Yeah. But yeah, let's take a walk over to Speculation Palace. Let's see what's in here today. Short ribs, barbecue short ribs, looking nice, looking good.
What you got for me?
All right, I am so torn on everything. I feel like I've said this every episode. I feel like Subaru has to die next episode.
Okay, again, I think we were both surprised the fact that he did not die.
Yeah, yeah.
This episode.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very surprised that he has survived so long. I don't know what they're planning to do. I think they're gonna try to. I think Emilia is going to somehow contact Subaru in a way that gives him the edge to at least make the envy the Saint Bishops start fighting each other. I think Julius is going to explain how his 1v1 happened with Greed. I think the thing that's gonna make him actually like turn the tide is that I feel like either maybe both, maybe because this is probably from this is what I'm getting from the intro. I'm gonna guess that Betty is gonna wake up. She's gonna come off of recharging mode. And Reinhardt is going to enter the scene as well. So I think Subaru's gonna like probably make a deadbeat to one of the castles, with a very small team. It's probably gonna just be him and Julius, and then Beto. It's gonna be Julius and Beto maybe. I don't know if Julius is gonna leave his candidate. He's probably not gonna leave his camp. So it's probably gonna be him and Beto, and then Reinhardt's gonna show up, and they're gonna be able to finally take down at least one of the bishops, and then that's when Amiya is gonna probably get some type of message out for them. I think we're gonna find a totally reasonable reason why Al is calling the phone, and he will become not guilty. That's my thoughts of next episode.
At the very least, I think he's gonna be 65% guilty.
I think the other thing is like, Felix sucks for Felix, man. He gets in his bad position where his candidate just gets fucked up and he's not there, and I feel bad for him because every time he's like, "Oh no, it's gonna be fine," and it's not fine.
Yeah, it would help if he was around.
Yeah. So
you can't just be like upset at people who did things.
yeah,
that's not how this works.
Yeah, I think but yeah, I think Felix, Will, and Beast Dude are not gonna follow Superman around anymore. I think Subaru is gonna make a big push. And I think he's probably gonna take a very hard death where it's like the classic one where it's like everything seems is going fine, and then something like comes out of the blue that really like messes up things, and then he gets a restart, and then he's gonna be like in a position to he's gonna have enough information to actually make an effective go around this time, because it's like even though he has been losing all these interactions, he has been learning a lot about how each one of the bishops have like been using their powers. I think the only one that he probably doesn't, you don't fully understand all of them, but like the only one that he probably fully doesn't understand right now is a little bit of lust, right? But like you kind of get that. She just transforms, and then greed.
Yeah, I can see for my prediction that I don't see him living for very long. I think he's too prideful for the story to let him continue his very unwarranted belief in himself.
What do you mean? He killed the whale.
I want to see
killed the whale.
What I want to see, and what I would be pretty like interested in seeing, is if he ends up in a situation where he like, oh yeah, I'm super confident in how this is gonna go. So we're gonna do this, this, and this, and this is how it's gonna turn out. And he ends up in a situation where he's not dealing with just one, not two, like, but three different archbishops. I think there's gonna be a fourth one. I kind of think that Al might be an archbishop.
Please don't say this to me. I like him too much.
Or like some kind of like archbishop, prospective archbishop.
Because we know for a fact, like, Betagoose offered he offered a seat to Subaru early on in the series. I don't know which seat, but he definitely offered a seat to Subaru.
We know what seat it is.
Hey man, we don't know for sure. Maybe he was offering rap. Maybe. But yeah.
So I don't know what he would be, but I have a theory. But I want to see a situation where he's just in between a rock and a hard place and another hard place, and it's just the end of it, and he's got to start from the beginning.
Oh, gotcha. One thing I will say is I think even if we have a spawn point that's like really far back, I still think Subaru is going to try to get some of the dragon blood. I think Subaru being cursed by the dragon blood is gonna be something that happens even if they go like all the way back to like where the treats is. I think he's going to have to take down that curse, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be able to get by without it.
Yeah. But he has our boy got his legs back, and hopefully Roy's our boy. Reinhardt will finally show up to the scene and not be late, because he's fucking late right now.
He may not come when you want him, but he's right on time.
Right on time to see Subaru ever either get fucking or die or kill him.
Gets no lucky breaks, but we're just going to have to see what happens next time.
Yep. So Oscar, thank you so much for doing this with me. It's always a joy to talk about ReZero with you. And yeah, thank you for doing this. And thank you. Yeah, you in the audience. You the person listening to this, because I don't know how to fuck stop this.
Very carefully.
Yeah, we really appreciate you. Like, I think Roscoe, Classy always says, like, if you're listening to this, you literally beat the algorithm, and we really appreciate you guys doing that. That's super cool. You guys are super awesome. If you guys are watching the show or enjoying ReZero, please let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And don't spoil anything for us, but tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what your thoughts might happen. And
yeah. And until next time, thank you for watching, and take it easy.